So thank you for coming. We are looking at kind of how our practice helps us to, or how our kind of yoga generally kind of serves as a mind-body detox. It's always nice to kind of visit this theme certain points in the year, and certainly after Christmas and New Year, even though we're getting into the month now, aren't we? But it's still, we can still kind of help to get rid of any kind of leftover so toxins, waste, unwanted materials, keeping everything moving as it should on a physical level. But also, if you think of stress and anxiety as being toxic to the body, even though it's in your mind, it obviously does it. I'm sure you're all aware, isn't it? You all know it has a toxic effect on the body, releases like cortisol. Our yoga practice, obviously the physical movements, the breathing helps a lot, triggering relaxation response. Morning. But and also just the relaxation itself, isn't it? So all of it combined helps to kind of detox the body and the mind, and a little bit more focused on twists, which have that extra kind of that extra helping hand, that twist and soak, twist and squeeze sort of feeling, and also anything that kind of presses onto the belly. These are the postures. More, I just want to say hello to Natasha. I haven't seen you for a while. Yes, Happy New Year if I haven't seen. I think I have seen it. Oh no, Jane hadn't seen. Yes, I do hope that the year is starting off well for everybody. I'm getting into the swing of it now. It takes a little while, doesn't it, to adjust from nothingness to full on 100% busy. But anyway, with that in mind, we're going to start laying down. So we're going to come to laying, just take a couple of minutes working with a full yogic breath. So kind of tuning in. And yes, just kind of starting right, slowing down. So be comfortable. So comfortable position, legs as is comfortable. Hands resting where it's comfortable. Let me bring this back a little. Oh no, it's right. Okay. So just come to your breath. Once you feel kind of once you're in a comfortable position, just come to your kind of natural breath, and then we'll kind of move into a full yogic breath. So kind of just connect, first of all, breathing in and out through the nose. And then when you feel ready to, we're just going to bring this into an abdominal breath, first of all. So breathing into the abdomen, drawing that breath up around the mid-chest, top of the breath to the top of the chest. And then with the exhalation, softening across the belly, softening across the ribs, softening across the upper chest. And then just repeating. So we're just trying to breathe more deeply, to lengthen the inhalation, extend the exhalation. So throughout our practice, we will be kind of working to stimulate the circulatory system, the lymphatic system, digestive system. So this happens obviously every time we practice, but just with that awareness that kind of working in this way is just helping to keep the body functioning as it should, and helping to release and let go of any toxins, anything that doesn't kind of serve us well. So really expanding into the three parts of the breath. As you're breathing out, really feel like you're letting go. You're staying in the present moment with your breathing. Giving your mind a little bit of space and staying present. So we'll just do this one more time. So really kind of filling into the three parts. the base of the lungs is really helping to remove any residual carbon dioxide, what happens when we breathe more shallow. So when we breathe these deep breaths, we're really helping to kind of cleanse and clear the lungs, the respiratory system as well. So at the bottom of the out breath, just release the shaping of the breath and just come back to your natural way of breathing. So just reconnect with that. And we're going to stay down for a few kind of postures. Let's just bring the knees in first of all. So if we bring the knees in towards the chest, give them a little bit of a hug or rock side to side if that feels good. And we're just going to start by kind of coming into a gentle twist. So we're going to bring the feet back down to the mat. We're going to have the feet mat width. Arms can be by the side or out to the side, so whichever is comfortable. And we're just going to take a breath in with the knees to center. And then as you're breathing out, just let them drop to the left. So it will only be a kind of gentle opening for the low back. If your knees feel uncomfortable in this position, then just kind of draw the right knee up towards the left. So just kind of see how that feels. Bringing the knees back to center on the in-breath. And then over to the right. So a little bit of a stretch through the front of the legs and also through the low back. We'll do the same one more time to each side. So breathing into center. Breathing out, legs just go towards the left. That's it. Breathing in, back to center. And then over to the right side. Coming back to center on the in-breath. And then we'll bring the knees to the chest. And we're going to do the same from here, but we're going to kind of hover. So we're kind of getting a little bit into the abdominal muscles as well. So you're breathing into center. Breathing out, knees to the left, but that kind of hover, so you're keeping the back of the shoulders connected. Coming back to center as you breathe in. And then over to the right. And again, really press down through the back of the shoulders and you're just hovering the knees off the floor. And you should feel a nice kind of stretch, release across the low back, back to center. So one more time each side, breathing into center, out to the left. So head and neck are relaxed as well. And feel a little bit of work through the core, through the abdomen, coming back to center on the in-breath. Exhaling to the right. That's it. Nice stretch. And then coming back to center. So knees back to center. And we're going to keep the right knee in. We're going to extend the left leg away. So you might have the foot to the floor, left foot to the floor, or you might have the leg straight. Just really depends on what's comfortable. We're going to we're going to extend the leg up first of all. So you can extend, so the right leg is straight. You're going to press through the heel and draw the toes towards you. So just as much, it might feel like super intense to press through the heel. It just depends what's going on with your shins and your calves, really. Or it might just feel like comfortable. But if you, either way, just think about pressing the heel and drawing the toes down towards you. And you're just supporting around the back of the leg, so maybe the thigh, maybe the around the calf. And just work with the breath. So you're breathing in on the out breath, just encouraging the leg a little deeper into the stretch. So if you reach the point where the leg starts shaking, then you obviously want to stay there or ease off a little. Just that point of resistance where it still feels nice. You can still keep the leg relatively straight. We'll just take a breath in. And then on the exhalation, we're going to draw the head up towards the leg. And you can either, and again, this is neck permitting. If it hurts the neck, just keep the head down and stay as you were. If you want to work a little more into the core here, you can release the hands. So just kind of out straight. So maybe head down, maybe head off, holding the leg, or maybe hands away. And we're just going to take one breath here. Okay, and then releasing down. So either way, upper body releases back down. We're going to come into kind of eye of the needle. So you're going to bend the left leg if it's straight. You're going to bend the right leg now so that the right ankle is resting onto the left thigh. Okay, does that make sense? Yes, okay, good. And then you want to feel the stretch into the outer hip. So remember, when we're stretching, we're helping to release any kind of stagnation, any kind of holding in the body, and that in itself kind of has this kind of letting go, releasing effect. You can bring your left knee towards the body if you want to feel the stretch more deeply. That's it. Okay. So you can just use the pressure of that knee, or you can reach through behind, not behind, between, that's the word, between the gap, maybe hold the back of the thigh, left thigh, maybe hold around the shin. So it just gets you, but your head and your upper body, it stays connected. So you're not lifting up or straining, you're relaxed through the upper body, you're just holding the position to get deeper into the stretch. So you might feel a little compression, a little pressing onto the belly, depending on your position. And just let the legs kind of relax. So you're holding the shape possibly. And just breathe into the stretch. This is a really good one. It's kind of like a reclining king pigeon. If one doesn't like king pigeon, you're kind of working sort of into the same stretch. You just obviously don't have the body weight into it, but you're working, stretching into the same part of the body. So it's a nice kind of anti-sitting, release all the holding you get from sort of sitting too much. This is a good one for that. Okay, and then just taking one more breath, really kind of squeeze the left leg towards you a bit more deeply, and then releasing the hold. So release the hold if you're holding. And then we're going to swap over the legs. So we're going to take the right foot down, extend the left leg up. You can obviously straighten the right leg if it's comfortable through the front of the leg. Hip flexors can be quite tight, so just see how that feels. And then holding around the back of the left thigh or the calf, it'd be a little closer. Press through the heel again, draws down through the toes. So when you're stretching, when you're pressing through the heel, you should feel that a little bit more into the calf. And you're aiming to keep the leg as straight as it will. There will come a point when it will kind of naturally want to bend, but try to keep it straight, not kind of to the point where it's shaking. So exactly the same as we did on the right side, but just kind of coming to that point of resistance. You can feel that nice stretch. And really pressing through the heel. And we'll do the same again. We'll take a deep breath first of all. On the exhalation, see if there's any way to go a little deeper. If there's not, then you're just holding your deepest position. And then the same again, taking a breath in. On the out breath, possibly coming up a little. If you find it helpful, sometimes that extra weight can get you deeper into the stretch. And if your stomach feels okay, then you can possibly take the hands away. You can just feel the challenge, isn't it? It's a little bit more of a challenge to the core, the abdominal muscles. We'll just take a breath. Okay, good. And then releasing down. And then we'll do the same kind of eye of the needle. So we're going to bend up the right leg if it's straight. Bend the left leg, rest the ankle onto the thigh. So flexing you might naturally do it, but if there's any issues with the knees, it is helpful to flex that foot, the left foot. And then the same, might feel the same on this side, might feel stronger or less so. So hold, maybe reaching through the back of the thigh or around the shin. And just, first of all, just being aware of what you're feeling. So I would imagine that you're feeling around the outer hip, kind of into the bottom, into the glutes. You might have other things going on. They're all different, have different feelings in our bodies, but the predominant stretch will be into the outer hip. And just breathing into it. Remember, if it feels any sort of discomfort around the knee, the flexed foot helps to protect the knee in this position. So we're just going to take a couple more breaths, and softening through the upper body, so just holding the shape. So it's quite yin in that respect. Okay, and then we're going to release the hold. Release the hold, release the hands, release the legs, give them a hug again. That little rock side to side. It's only really if it feels helpful, or you can kind of circle the knees if that feels better. Okay, and then we're gonna come up to sitting, so you can rock yourselves up or you can come onto your side, just kind of see how that feels. Are we good? Yes, okay. So we're going to come onto all fours, just to kind of get into our spine using the floor. Is that working? Yes, okay. Good. Yeah, I should do the same really. So onto all fours, a couple of cat cows, just to release the spine and get the hips involved. That's it. So shoulders away from the ears. So keeping that length, so we're not sinking. And then really thinking about tucking under, bottom under, belly button towards the spine, chin towards the chest. And then the same again. So we'll just do this. We'll do this again, breathing in. You should just kind of be aware of what you're feeling. You might just have a nice open spine that's really comfortable, or you might have a lot of tightness around the low back, in which case this is like always a really, really good one. And another one that just, if you're sitting a lot, you're just not getting these movements, are you? In everyday life as well, it's just our bodies can move in this direction, but or in these ways. So because they can, it's kind of good that we do. But a lot of these movements just don't come into everyday life, do they? So we're not kind of making the most of our bodies. So after the next out breath, you're just going to come back to neutral, and then we're going to tuck the toes and come up into downward facing dog. So we're just going to start opening up through the back of the legs, lengthening the spine. So think shoulders away from the ears. If you're almost practically sort of shoulders to earlobes, really make a point to draw the shoulders down. So wide spread of the fingers. Your gaze is just back towards the feet, towards the ankles. You can pedal through the feet. You want to get a little deeper into those calves. A nice way to do that. Okay. That's it. Good. Really pushing the mat away from you to kind of draw or get more length through the spine and draw the belly back towards the legs. There's always, if you feel like you're too much into your wrists, there's always kind of pushing away base of the fingers, and you can get that length. Okay, we're going to take the feet to the hands. So step, or a little spring if you wish. That's it. Good. Into Uttanasana. So you're standing forward fold. Just play a little rock forwards into the balls of the feet, rock back into the heels. Just notice the difference through the back of the legs. Maybe your arms are dangling, maybe you're holding the inside of the elbows. Any pulling on the back, a slight bend through the knees. And we'll just take a couple of kind of big breaths here. Maybe even feeling like you're breathing into the sides. So you're kind of like a lateral breath, like you would in the mid-chest kind of breath. A simple inversion, but so nice for releasing the spine, releasing the upper body. Okay, so we're going to just release the hands if you're holding the elbows, take the hands onto the hips, and we just come up nice and slow, so you can roll up or you can come up with a flat back, whichever feels better, but nice and slowly up to standing. You're going to come to Surya Namaskar A, but we're just going to, so last week we looked at stepping back and coming into a low lunge, so we're just going to take the knee down on the step back on the first round, and in the second round we're going to do the same, but we're going to come into a twist. So I'm going to obviously do it with you, so it'll be clear anyway, but just so you're forewarned of a couple of changes. So standing to the top of the mat, breathing the arms up, exhale, folding forward, so hinging from the hips. That's it. Hands to rest, breathing in, half lift. Exhale, releasing, stepping back with the right foot, knee comes down, so just placing the knee down. That's it. You can feel a little deeper stretch through the hip flexors. Gaze can be forward or gaze can be up, so just a pause here for a breath, and then stepping back to plank, so plank or modified, so you can have your knees down or knees off. wrists directly under the shoulders. That's it, nice straight line. Just lowering down as you normally would, so keep the elbows hugging in. You can take the knees down first or lower through Chaturanga Dandasana. That's it, good. And then your back bend, however your spine feels today. Breathing in. Okay, tucking the toes, pressing back, downward facing dog. And then we're going to take a few breaths here. So do kind of shift the emphasis in the hands to the base of the fingers. Your palms are still down, but it's just that you're not always kind of putting all your weight into the wrists. It's just a little bit kind of healthier really for the wrists. Pressing down or easing into the heels or pedaling. Gentle pedal if that feels good, or just that thinking about pressing down, extending through the heels, shoulders away from the ears. All those little kind of adjustments that keep you in the kind of more comfortable position, getting the most out of the pose. We'll just take one more breath. And then we're going to take the right leg out behind, through between the hands. So just coming into Anjaneyasana. So back knee pops down, just for a breath, gaze forwards or gaze up, keeping the hands to the floor. Stepping both feet together to the top of the mat, Uttanasana. Breathing in, half lift. Exhale, releasing, and then breathing the arms up. And then exhale. Hands to prayer at the heart center. That's it. So exactly the same with the step back, knee down to the left side. Breathing in, arms up. Exhale, fold. So flat back. That's it. Good. Hands to rest. Breathing in, half lift. Exhale, releasing. Left foot steps back. Knee drops down. Gaze lifts. Anjaneyasana. Stepping back to plank or modified. That's it, good. Lowering down, Chaturanga Dandasana, or you can take the knees down first, lower the upper body, move through into your Cobra Sphinx Up Dog. That's it, good. Just taking a breath, hopefully you feel that stretch across the lower back, should feel good. Tucking the toes, pressing back downward facing dog. Ardha Mukha Svanasana. And again, just all those little kind of adjustments. Maybe check that the neck is free, nod the head, shake the head. Drawing the shoulder blades down, that length through the spine. Just taking another breath. That's it, and it's good. Okay, and then we're going to take the left leg out behind. So you're back into your three-legged dog, swinging the foot through. Between the hands, back knee places down, gaze lifts. Okay, both feet together. Uttanasana, top of the mat. Breathing in, half lift. Exhale, releasing, breathing the arms up. And then exhale, hands to prayer at the heart center. Okay, good. So one more time, stepping back and twisting. So obviously I'll talk you through it. Breathing in, opening up. Exhale, fold. That's it, hands to rest, breathing in, lift the heart, the gaze. Exhale, releasing. Right foot steps back, knee plants down, right hand inside of the left, challenging my right to the left, and then turning towards the left leg. So it's a closed twist. So that's it. So the knee is kind of against your belly, or the leg is against your belly. Coming back to center, and now just moving through the same, coming back to plank, lowering down, so Chaturanga or knees down, lower upper body, move through, opening up the spine. That's it, good, very nice. Tucking the toes, pressing back downward facing dog. And again, just taking a few breaths here. Let the face relax as well. Opportunity to just kind of release the jaw. Let the face just kind of soften. That little kind of shift through the bottom and the hips. So where you might naturally be kind of tucking the pelvis under, we're kind of sticking the bottom out, and then that draws you more kind of into the right position. Taking the right leg out behind, through between the hands. Back knee down, and we're twisting to the right. So the left hand plants down, twisting towards the right side. Okay, That's it, good. Coming back to center, back into Uttanasana. Both feet top of the mat, breathing in, lift the heart, the gaze, exhale, releasing, breathing the arms up, and then exhale, hands to prayers. We're almost there, just one more round to the left side, breathing in, arms up, exhale, fold, that's it, good, hands to rest, breathing in, half lift, exhale, releasing, left foot steps back, knee drops down, turning to the right, so left hand, that's it, good. So opening up, feel the stretch through across the chest, inner arm, coming back to center, back to plank or modified. So always your choice, you can chop and change, see how you feel. Lowering down, coming through into your Cobra Sphinx up dog. That's it, good. Okay. I thought my screen froze there, but it wasn't. We were just being still. Tucking the toes, pressing back downward facing dog. Okay, and then taking a few breaths here. So really do kind of use the breath as you're breathing out. You can kind of use that out breath to push into the hands to get that length through the spine, opening up through the back of the legs. That's it, good. One more breath. And then we're taking the left leg out behind. Yes, through between the hands, back knee plants down, turning to your left. So right hand plants down, turn, twist to the left. Okay, getting more into the upper back, really coming back to center. That's it, both feet to the top of the mat, Uttanasana, so we're almost there. Breathing in, lifting the heart, the gaze, shoulders away from the ears, exhale, releasing, and then breathing the arms up. Exhale, hands to prayer at the heart center. Oh, you can never get the whole of me in this room. Okay, so feet comfortable distance apart. I think we'll have both the hands overhead. So we're going to breathe the arms overhead, interlace the fingers, and then turn the palms away, but pop the shoulders down. Okay. Oh, shoulders all. I can't see everyone. Okay, never mind. It's fine. Any issues with the shoulders, I'm just going to say, because I know there's a couple of people, you can kind of adapt it. Maybe you just have one arm across if that feels okay, but just to see how that feels. But if your arms are okay, you can have them overhead, and then just on the out breath coming over to the side, but you're going to breathe. So you're not just holding the breath out. It's just to kind of go with the movement on that out breath. Again, just if there's any discomfort through shoulders, just kind of change the arm position. Don't sort of suffer in silence. Okay, coming back to center. We'll bring the arms down for the moment. Okay, yeah. And then we all see, I think sometimes as we're kind of all aging together, we're getting all the same creaks and aches and pains. So I'm understanding it all really. Coming to the other side, so breathing the arms up, interlacing the hands. But that's why yoga is so good really, because you can totally adapt things. Breathing in and then over to the side on the out breath, and then just feeling that stretch. And again, it should feel good, and if it stops feeling good, then you change the hand position. Okay, you can just take one arm down. You can even take the hand to the shoulder if it felt too much to stretch it over. So just kind of bearing in mind not to hold uncomfortable positions. Okay, and then coming up. And then taking the hands down. Okay, good. So we're going to come into Trikonasana. So this is where you can potentially, if you tend to use a block for triangle pose, you've got the option here, so you can high or low, see what feels good. Obviously you can take the hand resting to the leg or down to the floor if it reaches. So about 3 feet, not super wide, back foot possibly in if the knees are happy, or you're going to keep them at right angles if not. Again, when we come into Trikonasana, obviously any issues with the shoulders, you can always keep the hand to the hip. You can keep the hand to the hip. So you're reaching, throwing the hip a little, then coming down to your kind of touch point. Okay, so it might be, the block is quite nice sometimes for really kind of getting that nice alignment, I find. Keeping the shoulders kind of stacked. Again, this is your opportunity to keep the hand to the hip if need be. Okay, keeping that rotation is from the upper body. If the gaze turns, then it comes from that rotation upwards from the upper body rather than just the head, the neck, because that's not comfortable. Okay, good. So Trikonasana, you can bring it into Utthita Trikonasana. That's literally just extending the arm over. Again, if that feels good, it just adds a little stretch to the side body. Should feel like you're working, just kind of activating the core, really, especially because we are kind of supported, so we're not kind of fully using it, but it's activating the core. We're going to come up, so you're going to make sure that you engage, so you don't use your back to come up to standing. Then we're going to move into Parsvakonasana. So you're going to bend into the front leg. You need to come a little bit wider. Okay, so then you've got your options here. You can rest the forearm to the, and again, see how your shoulder feels. You can have the forearm to the thigh. You can have the hand to the block or to the floor, maybe. And again, arm placement, maybe here, maybe up, maybe over. Okay, so hopefully something in there for everyone. If you're on your forearm, just avoiding this. Keep that length, the distance from the shoulder to the ear, just so you kind of, it's a bit better for your shoulders really, rather than sinking in. Okay, so you're just, let's see. So Parsvakonasana, taking one more breath here, or wherever you are. And then we're gonna, you might need to come up first of all to then turn over that front foot. So do that in a way that's kind to your back. So you come up and then down. And we're gonna come into Parivrtta Parsvakonasana. So actually, we could come into prayer twist to make it different from what we did in our sun salutation. So you can have the hand to the floor, twist up. You can come into your prayer twist, so you have the hands to prayer. That will get you deeper. Let me come this way around, actually. I'm just facing away from you. So you can come into your prayer twist. The more you press, the deeper the twist. If you want to make it a little stronger for the hip flexors, so bring a bit more strength into it, you can tuck the back toes and lift the knee off. But you're trying not to sink into it, but kind of keep the legs strong and everything in alignment. It's easy to kind of sink, but it's slightly better position to keep stronger. We're all good. Yeah, so see how that feels. A bit of falling over there. Keep the knee down if it feels unsteady. It can feel like a balance, so you can tuck the toes. That feels better. Okay, we'll just take one more breath. So wherever you are, lots of different options. If your knee's off, then you can take your knee down and then turn over the front leg. I swapped my legs midway, so I'll come back. And then actually we could just scoot the back foot in to come into Parsvakonasana. That's it. Good. And then just take a moment. That should feel good. Nice hamstring stretch. Okay. And then taking the hands to the hips and coming up slowly to standing. So you can see we've done a few different twists already, and there's some are kind of more into the upper back, some are coming more from the belly, so you're getting a little bit more into the low back. So it's all different ways of kind of giving everything here a little bit of a squash and a squeeze. So we're going to do the same to the other side. So if you did use the block, we'll just take it over to the other side. So we're starting with Trikonasana, so your triangle pose. So back foot maybe slightly in, arms to shoulder height, okay? Reaching, and then let that hand come down. So it might find the block, or it might just rest. Yeah, if you're super low, if you're all the way down, what you can do is to yogi toe lock. So your first two fingers, was that index and middle finger, hook around the big toe. So if you find, I always find that I don't feel like I'm in a good position if I come all the way down, but I can see if you're all the way down, then hold the big toe, and then that's a way to kind of have that connection within the pose. Okay, so again, let the shoulders be happy, don't hurt the shoulders. My arm might be up, arm might be over, Utthita Trikonasana. Okay, good. And breathing. Just take one more breath. And then we're going to come up, so you're going to use your core, so you're not into your back. Okay, good. Then we're moving into Parsvakonasana. So you're bending the front leg, and then you can see you have to take it wider, don't you? Otherwise you end up over the knees over toes. So a wider position. And then again, the same options. So you might be forearm, thigh, you might be arm up, you might be lower, hand to the block, or hand to the down to the floor. Okay, arm can stay here, can come up, or can come over. Okay, so Parsvakonasana or Utthita Parsvakonasana. So I think okay, good. So far away, I can't see. Sort of vague outlines. Okay, that's good, good. It's really just, you know, it's just finding the position you can kind of hold comfortably, and to make sure that you're breathing and we're not like concentrating and holding the breath. Okay, so we need to come up a little first, otherwise it's not good for the low back, in order to find that twist, and then you're coming back down. So I guess probably whatever you did on the first side, you'll feel okay to do on this side. I'll change my legs actually, so I'm facing you. So you can come back, hand to the floor, arm extended. You can come into your prayer twist. Again, the more you press the hands, the deeper the twist. So bear that in mind. If it's too strong, just don't press into the hands too much. And if you did take the back knee off, then you're tucking the toes and lifting the back knee and trying to bring the hips up a little, just in case you're sinking. You might not necessarily sink into it, but if you do, just keep the legs kind of strong. Okay, soften the toes. Now, you don't have to do the prayer twist, you can just have one hand to the floor. Okay. We just take one more breath. That's it, kids. I like this one actually, it's nice. We take the back knee down if it's off. So back knee comes down, turning over that front leg. So kind of realign, hips level, spine not twisted. And then we're going to come into pyramid pose. So you're going to hop that back foot in a little. Just take a couple of breaths. Just breathing to the hamstring stretch and to move my legs. Okay, and then, are we in the right position? We might be. Yes, we might be. We're going to walk ourselves round to the front to come into our, that's it. You knew what I was doing. Prasarita. So feet now are going to be parallel. Just a little bit kinder to the knees. That's it, good. And then, if you've got anything left in your shoulders, you can come into a shoulder opening. So interlaced fingers, opening into the shoulders. It actually feels it feels good after all these, because we're not really, I think we're sort of using the shoulders, aren't we, and opening up, but this is getting a little deeper. If it doesn't feel comfortable or your shoulders are a bit worn out, just let the hands kind of come to the floor or to the ankles. So you're just working with the inversion, not worrying about the shoulder opening. But if you're okay, then just kind of enjoying the stretch. Just going with what's available, really. It's a nice way to keep that mobility, that range of movement. Okay, just one more breath here. And then if you're opening into the shoulders, you're going to take the hands onto the back. You're going to take the hands to the floor. Are we there? Yeah. And then actually we could come into Skandasana. So if you turn the right foot out a little, so rather than facing directly forward, you're turning it out and you're going to bend into that leg. So you might keep the bottom lifted. So you probably know already how you find your side lunge. So if you're more of a bottom lifted variation, then keep the bottom lifted. Or if your knee is happy and you can go a bit deeper, then you can come deeper. That's it, yeah. You can flex the foot, come onto the heel, possibly. Okay, so either or, so bum up, bum down. You can come into a balance if you wish. We're just going to take a breath. You don't have to, you can keep the hands here, otherwise. Just keep that weight slightly forward. So be mindful of furniture. Okay, and then we're going to move over to the other side. So you're going to, so you either can come through or you come up and over. Remember, if you're keeping the bottom up, you're just supporting yourself with the hands to the mat. If your knees happy, it's quite a lot actually, isn't it? It's inner leg stretch and then getting around the hip joint and everything. So if you can find the balance, the option, the option is there. Okay, I'm going to go. No. Okay, good. And then we'll just have the hands down. We're going to come onto our bellies. So we're going to have a look at Shalabhasana, so locust. Just going to move this slightly down so you can see my mat. Yes, locust, Shalabhasana. So we looked at Dhanurasana in the other classes this week, which is the kind of other one that's really good for, well, for strengthening the back body, but for our purposes, for pressing into the belly. So if you come down to laying on your stomachs, good, yes. So we'll split it so that we'll look at upper body, lower body, and then combine it. So if you just have your hands under your shoulders, so hands under shoulders, presuming that your backs are happy, then you're lifting the hands and the upper body a little, keeping the feet connected, so keep the tops of the toes connected to the floor, and then just having a lift up. Okay, breathing obviously while you're here. Any issues with the lower back, if kind of working with strength or this particular pose is not comfortable, then just use it as a back bend and just keep the hands to the floor and kind of press yourself up. It's just an option. Obviously, if you can do Shalabhasana, do Shalabhasana, because that's going to work with strength. And that's obviously where, either way, you're pressing your belly into the mat. So maybe work with an abdominal breath so you can really feel as you're breathing in, that pressing against the mat and then that softening. Okay, and then we're going to release down because you've been here for ages. So we'll release down, let the arms relax. You can have the head to one side or head onto the hands, so whichever feels more comfortable. Just take a moment. Okay, small movement. I know sometimes it feels like nothing much is, well, no, not that nothing much is happening, because you can certainly feel it, but it's not always a lot of lift, or it doesn't feel like there's a lot of lift. We're going to look at the, let me think, yeah, we'll look at the legs now, and then we'll combine it. So if you have the hands to the sides, so arms to the sides, so palms are facing down, you might be on your forehead or you might be on your chin. If you can lift both legs together, regardless of how high, then work to lift both legs together. If for any reason it's not comfortable, lift one at a time, but kind of hold for a couple of breaths and then change over. So you've got a gentler option. So maybe both feet together. You can kind of press into the hands maybe to help get a little more lift, or your alternative is just to lift one leg at a time. Okay, so we're working the back of the whole of the back of the body, so definitely posterior chain strengthening pose. Again, breathe into the belly, so feel that you're kind of expanding, pressing against the floor. And then softening. Okay, We're still hanging on in there. Just about see. Okay, if you're still hanging on in there, we're just going to now let go. And then just let those heels flop open. Again, let the arms relax however's comfortable. So maybe if you had the head to the center, keep to the center. If you had the head to the side, take the head to the other side, just for balance. So small but effective movements, and definitely this one and bow pose for as an alternative really to the twists, for really kind of not just activating, because it's always activated, but kind of getting into the digestive system and kind of working with that kind of pressure, that squeezing, that twisting. So we're going to potentially put or bring both movements in together. If for any reason you want to just focus on the upper half or the lower body, then you can choose that too. But if you want to have a go, then we'll have the hands back under the shoulders, and then we're lifting the legs at the same time. So the gaze might be down to the mat, maybe it's to the top edge of the mat, not kind of forward so you're hurting your neck, but find a kind of comfortable positioning for the neck. Okay, that's it, good. And you keep the hands here, or you can kind of play with it, so you can take the arms out. It's stronger for the back, obviously, a bit more of a Superman type pose, so you can straighten the arms out overhead. Possibility, so you might stay here, or you might like arms out to the sides. So kind of find the option that you kind of feel the most benefit from. So arms out to the sides is a possibility, or arms, hands clasped behind the back. Again, breathing into the belly, if you can kind of just work with an abdominal breath, really kind of lifting those legs, really kind of focusing into it. Just take one more breath. That's it, good. And then we're going to release down. So just bring the arms back down, however's comfortable. Legs, lower the legs. Let the heels flop open. It's just a really nice way to really release. And then if there's any need, you can rock side to side, rock the hip side to side, release the low back. Okay, so we'll just take another breath or two here. Just let yourselves relax. Okay, and then we're just gonna press ourselves up and slowly back towards child's pose, just for a couple of breaths. So you might come to a slightly wider knee child's pose, possibly. Arms extended or by the side, so always your choice where you come to. Just really kind of release across the lower back, release into the hips. And then we're just going to slowly come up, but then we're going to move down onto our backs anyway. So we come into a twist actually first of all. So we'll come to a twist first. That's it, good. So having the knees to the chest, or you might take the feet back down to the mat if you prefer. Crossing the top leg over possibly, so option, and then just letting the knees go to the left side. So however you kind of can get into that twist. So you might want to add a bit of weight, left hand onto the legs, but keep the back of the shoulder, so right shoulder in particular, pressing into the mat. Make the most of that twist. Head and neck relaxes. Whole body relaxes, so no hovering now. Feet or knees are connected to the floor somehow. And just feeling that twist. So if your knees are quite high up, you might feel that kind of pressing into the belly as well. So we're twisting the spine, but obviously we're getting into the belly. So coming back to center, and then over to the other side. So if you cross the legs, change the cross, let the knees go to the right side. The knees higher, closer towards the elbow is a little stronger. Similarly, obviously, knees lower is going to feel a little less of a twist. Relax the head, the neck. We're starting that process of kind of grounding and letting go. And then coming back to center. That's it. And then just finding a comfortable position for Shavasana, for relaxation. Be warm, be comfy. So knees bent or legs outstretched. Just a few minutes just to kind of let the body settle again. The body processes kind of what's gone on during our practice. So the twists and the poses that kind of put that pressure on the belly, they kind of work a little deeper or a little more towards the kind of detox action of the yoga practice. But all the movements really are working some way. It's just part of what we're doing in our practice is to keep everything moving, keep the energy flowing. And obviously Shavasana, like the breath focus as well, it's about allowing yourselves to relax. So they're working on that mind detox, triggering relaxation responses. As simple as slowing down the breath can be. So just allowing your breath to naturally get a little fuller, a little deeper. Feel that you can just really kind of let go when you're in Shavasana. Make the most of the opportunity to really kind of relax, giving yourselves permission to just connect with that stillness. So being aware of the weight of your body pressing into the mat, so the back of the body, the points where you feel a little heavier, a little more connection. Really kind of sink into the mat as you're breathing out. The beginning of the year is all about kind of letting go of the old and making space for the new way of being, or however it is, or whatever it is you setting your intentions to. So think of that with the breath, that we're kind of creating space as you're breathing in, that feeling of expanding, and just letting go, releasing as you breathe out. Feel yourself supported. Feel that deeper connection with the ground, with the earth. And then as you're breathing in, just saying in your mind, breathe. And as you're breathing out, just saying in your mind, relax. Really kind of connecting with those words. So as you're breathing in, obviously you are breathing in, so thinking I am breathing in a long breath. And then as you're breathing out, really feeling that you're settling deeper into relaxation and keeping your mind with the breath. And keep that present moment focus and awareness. You're breathing in, breathe. And breathing out, relax. And we just do that one last time. We're just using repetition of these words to kind of keep you, it doesn't like an anchor, keeping you in the present moment and connecting with your body and breath. So releasing the repetition of the words, just being aware of being in the space, aware of the air on your skin, the temperature in the room, being aware of any sounds in the space around you. Maybe awareness of sounds outside of the room, if you can hear any. And then bringing your awareness back to your body. Maybe the sound of your breath or the feel of the heartbeat, if you're aware. And then we're going to start to just kind of gently reconnect with the body. So moving, however, really, it can be fingers, toes, but it might be your head, your neck. You might lay it on gradually, or you might just come to a full body stretch, however you feel to move. And then we're just going to slowly make our way back to a comfortable seat. That's it. Good. And then we'll close with our three ohms. I won't use the bowl because I'm aware that it just affects the sound, doesn't it? It just sort of I see it on the recordings. Okay, so we come to three ohms. So our hands as you're comfortable to have them. We just take a deep breath in first of all, and then exhale. And breathing in. Same again, deep breath in. And last time, deep breath in. And we just bring our hands, thumbs to the brow center, open mind, and then to the heart center, open heart. So thank you very much for joining me. Namaste.